LGBTQ plus women are even more marginalized than the men's GBTQ plus community. There are specific types of violence that target queer women, even when they are closeted. Lesbians are at risk of physical violence, sexual harassment, and arbitrary arrest by police. Human Rights Watch confirms that lesbian, bisexual, and queer people around the world are affected by marriages to men they did not want to enter or cannot leave, including in Indonesia, Malawi, and Kyrgyzstan. Human Rights Watch identified the following areas of LGBTQ plus rights as those in need of immediate investigation, advocacy, and policy reform: the right to free and full consent to marriage, land, housing and property rights, freedom from violence based on gender expression, freedom from violence and discrimination at work, parental rights and the right to create a family, the right to asylum, the right to health, including services for sexual, reproductive, and mental health, protection and recognition as human rights defenders, and access to justice. Lesbian invisibility is a reality, and hence there is a need for women from the LGBTQ plus community to gather and stand for their security and for their rights. The issues that LGBTQ plus women face in 2023 are significant. And going down this laundry list of things that we go through honestly breaks my heart. You know, I mean, it's human rights. That's really it. It's basic human rights that we ask for. And then we think about our sisters in other countries and what they have to go through. And, you know, and the first person that I thought of when I was thinking about this story was you, Janelle, because your parents left Cuba, a dictatorship, okay, to go somewhere free.
Yeah.
And here you are, a lesbian in this community with all this stuff against us.
Still in Florida.
And especially here in Florida, Mama. What do you think about this?
I mean, it's horrible. Just today on the news, I was seeing that in Uganda, they made it illegal to identify as LGBTQ. Imagine what it must be like for women in these countries and you know, having to flee in order to be themselves. It's awful.
Yeah. Anne, what are you
right.
thinking?
What comes to my mind is back in the day, being probably the oldest person here, I remember those times when here in the United States, we've taken a few steps back, of course, but it was like that constantly in every state. I mean, you had no rights, and we have gained some rights here in the U.S., thank goodness, taking some steps back, but we will come back. Now we're seeing it in other countries. And what is it? I mean, the question then becomes, what is it that we can do to help these women? Many of us have had that experience where we've had our rights diminished, taken away. We've learned, and what can we do now to help them? I think that's something that a lot of us really need to consider.
Yeah, can you imagine how scary it is to have to marry a man without your consent? Marley, what does that make you think?
That's definitely not the route that we need to be going at all. Like it's already hard enough coming out, like sometimes in different families and even around your friends, but to know that women out there are dealing with needing to, like, having to or being forced to marry someone that they don't love and marry someone that they don't see themselves loving and not having any say in it is ridiculous. At this point. So
yeah, and you know, like Anne said, we take a couple of steps back, but we still are more forward than some other places. You know, only a couple of decades ago, we needed a man to co-sign on a checking account as women. You know, Jasmine, what does that stir up for you?
I mean, it stirs up this idea that I hope that we don't get complacent in thinking at least we're not as bad as other countries. Because we see in Florida that they're taking way more than a few steps back. There's some states that are protecting LGBTQ students and youth and marriages, and in other states they're allowing people to decide not to recognize someone's marriage just because you don't feel like it. Like that to me is terrifying, and we shouldn't rest on, but at least we're not that other country, right? Not that we need to fight like hell for ourselves and also for women and people in those other places.
I agree. Miss Marley?
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.